surf ski kayak with his team from the Alawai to Diamond Head. On the way back to the Alawai Channel, they noticed that one of the kayakers was missing and activated 911 immediately. In addition to our ground search, we also had 3 boats, 2 air assets, and our drone team. In addition to HFD, we had the United States Coast Guard with 1 fixed-wing aircraft, 1 helicopter, and 1 boat, and airport rescue and firefighting with 1 boat. Right now, we're going to hear from the other agencies that assisted in effecting this rescue, and then at the end, we'll take questions and answers. So right now, I'd like to introduce from the United States Coast Guard, Lieutenant Commander Nick Iannarone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nick Iannarone, United States Coast Guard. So at about 7:30 last night, the United States Coast Guard received a report from Honolulu Fire Department of an overdue 17-year-old kayaker. We immediately launched our rotary wing aircraft as well as our fixed wing and 1 small boat to commence the search. Additionally, we established communications with Honolulu Fire and our other partners. I just want to emphasize this was a total team effort. The whole team, we could not have done this without the expertise, planning, and professionalism of all of our partners. The search endured throughout the night, and just after 4 a.m. this morning, our fixed-wing C-130 Hercules aircraft located what they believed to be and what ended up to be the individual clinging to his boat just about half a mile offshore of Diamond Head. At that point, they began orbiting the area and deployed flares to mark the position, and then fortunately made broadcasts to a Good Samaritan in the area who was able to effect the rescue. I'll defer to him for those questions on the actual rescue and introduce Nolan to talk about that portion.
Aloha, my name is Nolan Kilana. I'm a city and county lifeguard. Been in the department for about 16 years. I'm also a part of the Polynesian Voyaging Society. And yeah, so last night I heard about the call, and it came around like 6:30 p.m. And then I kind of watched it go by for like 3 hours. And then I got a text from, actually from my wife, saying that it's one of our friend's kids. So I was like, oh, I gotta go. So I used one of our boats, made sure I got approval from Lionel Thompson, and we went out and I did about a 100-mile search. Starting from Sand Island, I went up towards, I went up towards Wailupe, and I went out 10 miles out, and I just did this zigzag course all the way back to Nanakuli Beach Park. Then I head back up in a 1-mile range, coming all the way up the coast, and then I see the C-130 flying over me. And they kept circling Diamond Head, flying over me, circling Diamond Head. And then as soon as I got by Honolulu Harbor, they held me. And then they said, what's my intention? So when I get to the kayak, and then I was like, wait, did I just hear what I heard? And then I said, oh, no, I'm trying to look for a friend's kid, but couldn't find them. And they said, oh, we got the target. So in 5 minutes, we're going to drop a flare. And then, yeah, the 4 rounds, they dropped the flare. We went to the flare, and they gave me more direction, and we're able to find the boy. And yeah, when I approached him, I saw the kayak, I saw his head above water, and then I was so stoked to see that he was alive. And then I remember asking, are you okay? And he's like, yes. And then food next to him, and then I'm like 2 feet away, open up the side door on the boat, and I was like, hey, come to me and give me your hand. He's like, oh, what about my kayak? I was like, leave the kayak, get on the boat. Got him on the boat, he was so worried about that kayak, but got him on the boat, and then I just threw all my blankets, towels, everything on him, and then drove him into shore at the Olawai. Met up with EMS and fire personnel and handed over. Yes. I'm going to hand over to Shane. Sorry.
Oh, wow. That's a hard act to follow, Nolan. Pretty incredible. I think we're all just trying to hold back tears. But I have a small part to end with. As soon as Nolan came into contact with the patient, Honolulu Emergency Medical Services was dispatched. So as soon as he came into the Alawai, EMS was there to take over with treatment along with the Honolulu Fire Department. They continued to keep him warm as he was experiencing hypothermia, extreme dehydration, a lot of severe cramping, but he was awake, alert, and he was talking. We continued treatment en route to an emergency room where we took him in serious condition and where he is getting further medical treatment. And we're just thrilled to be able to share this good outcome with you. This is a perfect example of interagency joint response where everybody came out, everyone, to do whatever they could to save this boy's life. We've heard from the family. They're extremely grateful, and they may be talking to you all at a later time, but for now, they're with their son as he is healing. It is my now honor to introduce the mayor of our city, Mayor Rick Blangiardi.
Well, I'm just here today to express my incredible appreciation and gratitude. As has been said, by everybody, Nolan, way to go, man. And Coast Guard and Jamie, everybody. This is a great collaboration. And it's been said, but I'll be honest with you, I was being updated throughout the night. And as I was going to bed last night, typically in everything up to that point, I was hearing, fearing for the worst, praying for the best. I was so ecstatic early this morning to wake up and get a text from Jim Arnold that they had found him and that he was alive. I mean, you talk about, I could easily get very emotional about this because it's just such a great story. But beyond that is just the fact that it mattered so much to our men and women, our first responders, and the efforts that were made. You could see the caring and the sincerity and the effort and the professionalism all kind of come together. And look, I've been around long enough to know you don't typically get this outcome. And I just came over here today to say heartfelt thanks and appreciation to everybody. This is just a great moment for us, and certainly for the family, and certainly for this young man. I'm sure it's something he'll never, ever forget, and probably will change his life for the better. So that's here today. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Rick, for that, Blangiardi. So now we're going to open it up for question and answer. We'll have about 15 minutes, and we'll have mostly Nolan and Lieutenant Commander.
Can you talk about how rare it is to find, in this situation, like how rare it is to actually have somebody alive and well after 11 and a half hours, and, what people should do if they're found in this situation?
Sure. Every case is different. So while it is rare to find people after 11 and a half, 12 hours, it's obviously not impossible. We always, like the mayor said, pray for the best. So if people do find themselves in this situation, we just recommend if you're going out, pay attention to the weather, pay attention to what's going on, the condition of the ocean. We all know it's a very dynamic environment, so be aware of your planned voyage. Let someone know what your plan is when you go out so that they know if you don't come back. And then bring some sort of flotation, anything to assist you should you become in distress.
Nolan, you come from a very proud line of watermen, voyagers. What's in your heart right now as you think about what just happened? I'm the type of person that want to go and be at every call, and
I know last night I wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't go out there, so I know it's off, but I had to get out there. Yeah, you know, just wearing the different hats. You got this, got lifeguarding, my father, knowing there's a kid out there. Just have to do what I have to do, yeah. Just wanted to put in my time and help out.
This team, you know him, right? So tell us how you know him and why it was so important for you to be there.
Well, this team, I actually know him through a friend. It's a friend of a friend, and yeah, we had like play dates together, like Pokabe and stuff like that. So I haven't seen him for a while, but I know who the family is, so that's why I had to go out there.
We got a really nice statement from his family. What do you want to say to them? And they're all of the Ohana that is had a sleepless night last night.
No, I'm just thankful the kid's alive. The whole night was an emotional night, especially after letting every minute go by, and then kind of like I was expecting the worst, and then when I seen his head up next to the kayak, I was like, whoa, like this family's lucky and this kid's strong. So yeah, I'm glad we got to bring him back alive and well. So I'm just happy that the family got to reunite with the kid.
Was the kayak upside down?
The kayak was actually right side up, and he was hanging out to each gunnel, and he was just treading water. He couldn't go on this kayak because it's a surf ski and it's really tippy. So it's like a one man without an outrigger. So the whole night he's in the water and he's just treading water, and he's telling me that he was using it as a kickboard too, and trying to make his way back to shore, but the current was taking him out. Yeah.
And did he lose his paddle? Is that how it happened? Started?
Yeah, so his paddle actually ran it over 2 miles before where he was, so I got to retrieve that, but he said that he lost the paddle out there. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the ocean conditions last night?
Oh, sorry, ocean conditions, I think it's like 25 knot, maybe gusting at 30. Winds out of the east, northeast, and yeah, past Diamond Head, probably up to like 6 foot seas.
Did he see you guys searching for a while?
He stated that he saw the helicopters going by, but no one saw him. Yeah.
Other than him wanting to get the kayak on the boat, what else was he saying to you? How happy was he to see you?
I think he was in total shock because he wasn't emotional at all, and I was actually crying my guts off because he was okay, and while I'm crying, he's like, "I'm okay, I'm fine," and I was like, "Wow." But he was worried. He said, "I'm worried about my mom because she probably missed me," and I was like, "Oh, yeah."
I wonder if you can give just a little bit more detail about where you guys were. So you said it was like half a mile off of Diamond Head, but I think you had been reporting natatorium. You know, like where exactly, was it goals or that kind of description?
Everything was dark. It looked like it was maybe a half mile or off of Kaimana Beach, yeah, in the natatorium area. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Okay.
Just what landmark are we?
What kind of shape does somebody have to be in to survive that long? Can you talk about like us three camera guys would be dead. So.
Great. He's putting me on the spot. Okay, great. This is perfect question. Thanks. So many different factors go into survivability at sea. So it's not just how good of shape are you in, how good of a swimmer are you, but it's are you able to cling to something? What are you wearing? The different ocean conditions, wind, waves, your hydration, like you were saying, he was dehydrated. So all of those different factors go into someone's survivability, and that's just the physical portion, right? There's the whole mental aspect of having that will to live. He's thinking of his mom, how worried she must be, and it was such a pleasure to be able to call his mom as she's crying on the phone and say, hey, we found him and he's okay. So a lot of different aspects go into survivability at sea, not just physical endurance, but mental stamina, spiritual strength, the conditions at the time. So all of those different factors play in.
The Coast Guard was ready to search 100 miles then from Diamond Head to Nanakuli? I mean, when you think about if he was just blown, does that mean he was paddling, or not paddling, but maybe treading water with the kayak the whole time?
Yeah, so
because he basically kind of stayed in the same place, right? I mean, how rare is that?
he did. It is rare, but it's largely dependent on those different currents, winds that affect that position. So we have search modeling software that incorporates winds, currents, waves, tides, that gives us a probability of where we think the person may be. While it is rare that they drift so little, the thing that our search modeling doesn't take into account is, we call them active subjects of search and rescue. So he's treading water, he's paddling, he's using the boat as a kickboard, and so as he's drifting offshore, then he's kicking to stay closer to shore. So he was obviously well within the search area, and so thankful that we were able to work with Nolan, with Fire, and have a great conclusion of this case.
In this case, did the pilot see him with his naked eye, or was it through like radar or some sort of technology?
It was a visual detection, so there was very good moon illumination last night, so you did see him with the eyeball. That wasn't.
The other vessels hadn't seen, or the other aircraft hadn't seen.
Mm-hmm. And it's condition dependent. There could have been a bunch of white caps in that area at the time that they passed over, so it just so happened that they were in the right place at the right time and were able to locate him and bring him home to his family.
Was the kayak ever retrieved?
Okay, great.
So yes, I know our kayaker was so concerned about the kayak, and so our rescue boat was able to go and retrieve the kayak. And thanks to Nolan, he retrieved our missing kayaker.
Were there other crafts out there yesterday evening, small boats and whatnot? I think there was a small craft advisory posted at the time, but how do those conditions play a role in such a lightweight vessel?
Right, so obviously the small craft advisory, the winds play a big part. With the lightweight vessel, it's sitting on top of the water, so the majority of the vessel is impacted by winds and not so much by currents. In terms of other vessels out there, it's Waikiki, so there are going to be boats in the area. With any distress case, the Coast Guard issues an urgent marine information broadcast, which basically notifies the entire boating public via Channel 16, the VHF radio, of, hey, here's the situation, we have someone who is in distress, please keep a lookout. And you have varying degrees of response, just Roger, acknowledgement, and I'm going to continue on my voyage. And then you have folks like Nolan that really take that to the next level and go out and actively search, and we're so thankful he was able to bring